Well, back again, a view from the sidelines, an EFL special, and I've got the pleasure of introducing Football with Brownie here, Cardiff City fan. But before I do that, and we get into talking about Cardiff, Brownie, if you'd like to tell them where they can find you on social media and on YouTube,
no problem. Football with Brownie on YouTube, Football with Brownie on Facebook. My Twitter handle, I haven't got a clue. The Twitter rules are crazy. I think you have to take the E off at the end. Football Brownie, take the E off and replace it with the 1 for some mental reason. But yeah, if you went on my YouTube channel, Football with Brownie, all the contact details are there. Come in, join the debate, no matter what team you support. I'm even allowing Swansea fans into my. But I may not allow any Millwall fans because I'm friends with so many West Ham fans. So
it's all love, man. It's all love.
Yeah,
Brownie, Cardiff, mate. From the depths of despair to Mick McCarthy coming in. I've got a couple of banners that I'm going to put up in a minute. Obviously, we'll just go through it quickly.
Yeah, no problem.
But Cardiff, they're 8th in the league on 58 points. And what's your thoughts on Cardiff, mate?
Well, before McCarthy come in, I'll be honest with you, I thought, fucking hell. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on you or not, but I really did think, fucking hell. But he changed it around. I can only compare it to when Roy Keane changed it around at Sunderland that 1 year, where they went into like relegation. When he took over in January, relegation, and he went up automatic. Unfortunately, we ain't going to go up automatic, but I really can fancy us being that one team to get into the playoffs before the end.
Yeah. And
then the team has the momentum behind them. We have got to be careful because in the summer, coming to the end of the parachute payment. So we really have to be careful. Otherwise, it could well be, trying to find a fiver down the side of a sofa type of thing, because we're still paying Premier wages with many of people.
Do you think you'll get there this year, though? Do you think you'll get in the playoffs this year? Because I must admit, like, from an outsider looking at Cardiff, I've been sort of... Obviously, since I've been doing things on Jake's channel, etc., obviously I've seen you on there. So I started looking at a bit of Cardiff and the form that they've done, the turnaround has been phenomenal, isn't it, under Mick McCarthy?
Incredible.
Do you know what I mean?
Incredible.
And he's come in, and obviously a lot of people have said, you know what, he's done his time. He was at Wolves, he's been here, he's done it, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can go, you know what, let's try something new. But he's come in, he's embraced the club, and he's obviously pushed you up to a level now where you're not far away from being there. Makes sense.
We lost against Wickham, and it should have been, at that point, the bullet should have been given to Neil Harris. I wouldn't say head, but, the contract should have been ripped up. However, they allowed it to go on a few more weeks. And by doing that, it kind of, it really, we were up. McCarthy, if he had that 2-3 games extra more, I think we would have been up there. Our problem being that many of the teams around the playoff area had games in hand.
Yeah.
We thought that they'd be dropping points, but none of them did. So we've dropped out of the playoffs, and the gap now, there's a good 4-point gap and a 6-point gap. Those have started to show now. So
There's one point though. I looked at the table today before. When I knew you were coming on, I had a little browse at the table, and you're only 1 point behind Bournemouth, and Bournemouth are on 59. You're on 58, and or something along that lines or something. So you're not really far away. But you're in the mix. Obviously, you're not 10 points behind. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
I know. We were.
Yeah, but back-to-back wins.
I think Reading are the ones that are going to drop out. I think Reading and Barnsley. Barnsley have been on good form.
I must admit they've been phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
Phenomenal this year. Yeah.
But I think the international break will help teams like Bournemouth and Cardiff You know, have a give players a bit of a rest and then go again. Because fans of Premier League don't really know how congested the Championship League has been this year. You know, it has been relentless weekend, week, going on for months, basically. And our squads are far, far lighter than many of the Premier League teams.
Yeah. But
you know,
do you know what? Though? It wouldn't surprise me if you do. There's always a team that, when you've probably seen it over the years, there's always a team that comes from nowhere, and basically ends up getting the last playoff spot and ends up going up. So if Blackpool. You don't go up this year,
Blackpool,
that
playoff final against Cardiff, I have never been so gutted in my life. Because Blackpool were when they got the momentum, got in there, got to a final. How they beat us, I don't know, but you know, they got into a Premier League, and it can happen. Something is telling me it could be Cardiff's year this year.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the teams there, Watford, I think, have got the strongest team. You know, within the promotion, kind of. I think Norwich and Brentford, I think, will go up automatic. And I think Watford are the hardest team of them all.
Are you looking at it, though, that next year, it's all about next year? Like, if you do, just for argument's sake, I know you get in the playoffs, and obviously you would want to go up this year, but if you don't, is it all about next year for you, in your opinion, with him, like a full season, these players?
If we don't, I'll be honest with you, I would worry. Financially, I would really, really worry. The owner would have, you know, there's moths coming out of his wallet. You guys think your owner's bad, but I'm telling you, they
are. They are, mate. They are.
But he would have to dig deep to you know, to ensure that we financially were stable. Because when parachute payment's gone, we could well be, you know, where we were in the court going down an administration route if it carried on. So it's a big gamble.
Yeah. Kent puts it here, right? He says, I've been impressed by Cardiff's Morrison, Flint, Wilson and Moore are key. By Dylan Phillips, he's been class since he's been between the sticks.
Well, what happened when McCarthy came in? First thing he done was change. He went 3 in the back, 3 centre halves, and we were like, "You bringing Aidan Flint in? The guy's a fucking donkey." Do you know what I mean? What are you doing? What are you doing? His first goal completely lost his marker. First game lost his marker. We were 1-0 down. Second game scored an own goal, but from that moment, stuck with him, and so many players who were ignored by the previous management have been welcomed open arms and grabbed their opportunity incredibly. Kent mentioned Phillips. So what happened with Phillips? The guy's a goalkeeper, reserve goalkeeper. During the second game or third game, with McCarthy being in charge, our normal goalkeeper just fainted for an odd reason, just fainted. Phillips comes in. Phillips comes in and, excuse the pun, but he grabbed the opportunity in both hands and he is still there. He's been playing brilliantly. Incredible what a manager can do, a change of manager can do.
I just want to get your thoughts on a sad note on something, because it's good to speak to a Cardiff fan, because it touched me when this happened to Cardiff and their player when you signed Salah, is it from Nice, and he passed away. And Brownie, I just want to know what it was like to hear that news of a player that you was looking to try and keep you in the Premier League, and basically he didn't make it, mate.
I thought you were going to ask something else then, but okay, Salah. obviously thought to go out with friends and family.
Mm.
I just wish, and I'm sure not just Cardiff fans, but non-fans as well, I just wish the two clubs would come together and say, okay, we'll go 50-50. No matter what happens, 50-50. You know, it's not a... It's a horrible type of legal battle, which, you know, it's like two rich men just want to get one over one another, you know, and a family have lost a loved one there. We just think that we just, you know, go 50-50 no matter what. But you know, we don't do that. I mean, what happened is that he come over. First of all, he come over, signed a contract. That contract was then sent to the FA. While the contract was being sent to the FA, Salah goes back over to France, you know, collect his things before coming back over. When the contract was received by the FA, they noticed something which made the contract invalid. So even though he had the photos and everything, legally he still wasn't a Cardiff City player because the contract was invalid. What was then agreed is that when Salah would come back, you know, do a little change with a contract, you resign. Well, unfortunately, he didn't come back. So that is where the legal battle is. Whose player actually was he? Because, you know, the contract was invalid. But, you know, this guy had photos in front of the press, you know, he's our player. Just, you know, it's a horrible... And as a Cardiff fan, I feel embarrassed, really. I feel embarrassed that, you know, the club is paraded into European courts because of something which should have been just resolved 50-50. But
yeah, I agree with you there, mate. I do. Do you know what? I will say this, right? I watched the game, Cardiff versus Bournemouth. I'll never forget the game. Right, they won 2-0. And your home end, like your main stand, our home end, was singing that song for Salah, like you never let him go. Like, I mean, you always be at City with me and all that, and that stuck with me. Like, I'm a West Ham fan. I bleed Claret and blue.
That was when Neil Warnock. Neil Warnock was filling up at the end, wasn't it? It was that one.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, he's just a grown man doing a job, basically, doing a living, and it was. I just thought I'd ask you on that, mate, and I appreciate.
I mean, Cardiff did offer him a normal flight from Paris. Now, if anyone knows the road between Nantes and Paris, I've done it myself. It's horrible. He just wanted to get back to Cardiff, so you know, the agent. Dodgy agent done a private flight with a pilot who shouldn't have flew at night time, and you know the rest we all know.
I just want to get through, and it's a sad, obviously, RIP to him and his family, mate. That's sad. But I'm going to get on to saying a bit more positive now.
Okay.
Obviously, we've got two of your key players. I just want to ask your thoughts quickly before I have to let you go. But this man first, Harry Wilson. How is he? How's he been for you this year?
Patchy, I think, is the best way to go about it. I didn't think that it would work out, and before Mick McCarthy, I was proven right. Whether Cardiff fans like it or not, Cardiff is still a Neil Warnock team, which is not the type of team in which Harry Wilson could fit into. You know, not a pass and move team. So under that last idiot we had, you know, it was just a waste of money, waste of wages, everything. McCarthy have come in and kind of found a position for him because he has brought more passing players into the team. That's probably one of the reasons why we've improved so much. But would I sign him permanently? If we're in the Championship, no. If we're in the Premier League, maybe. The wages we're paying him for a Championship side is incredible.
Yeah. right. I love your honest approach, mate, because you're just like me. And I'm going to move on to one of your top boys, and I must admit I'm impressed with this lad, Kieran Moore. Top goal scorer at the club.
Ballon d'Or fucking winner. Ballon d'Or winner. Forget bloody Messi and Ronaldo. Ballon d'Or winner, I tell you.
How good is this lad?
No Dean Ashton. I think he could be another Dean Ashton. The problem Kiefer Moore's got is he hasn't got age on his side now. He's 27. That's the only problem. If he was like 24, 25, then we could struggle to keep him. We raided Wigan to get him. We raided Wigan because Wigan went into administration. Before they went into administration, they turned down a higher offer from Cardiff. When they went into administration, Cardiff went in with a lower offer, and the administrators said, "Go on, no problem."
Yeah. What is he? What type of player is he, though, Brownie? Is he like his target man? Isn't he? Is he like a target man?
Target man. But I tell you what, he bloody good with his feet. That's what I'm thinking. Like Dean Ashton. Okay, just still relating him because you're West Ham. Better than his feet. Better than feet like a Carlton Cole or anything like that. Much better.
Yeah.
You definitely do a job for a lower end Premier League team. Absolutely, 100%. But
do you reckon he'll be there? If you don't get the playoffs this year, can you see him starting for you in the new season?
Well, he'd be 28 by the time that comes round, I think. So, if I don't know, if a Norwich come in with a reasonable offer, I don't think Cardiff should stand in the way. The guy coming to the end of his career, give him the opportunity of having to go in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree, mate. And before you go, Brownie, I just want to ask you what your thoughts are on West Ham this season. Obviously,
I'm loving it. Actually, I'm absolutely loving it. People are relating it to Leicester when they won the league that 1 year, but it's different. And I tell you why. Because the Leicester owners really get on with the fans, and they got brilliant rapport between the fans and the owners, and that's why the club is. But David Moyes, the fans and the players have got bastards of owners who are willing to sell players behind Moyes' back, willing to lie just to earn a couple of quid. Stadium move I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's not just fucking hurdles that fans have to go through. It's a fucking poll vote with with fair play, absolute fair play. And Souček, how on earth you got him for that money and Corfal? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I do agree.
I really hope you can break the media kind of bandwagon of getting into the top four. It'd be great for football and great for West Ham.
Oh, 100%, mate. Me personally, and I'll be honest with you, if we finish in the top six, it's an achievement. I think if we finish anywhere lower than that, considering we are fifth at the minute and we're only a couple of points off fourth, then it will be disappointing considering where we are. Obviously, with owners that we have, they don't like to loosen their wallets, I'm afraid.
I know. We should have had another striker in January. That would have made a huge difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
But I tell you what, I live in Marbella, right? So if you go to the Europa League qualifiers, Rangers and Celtic play in Gibraltar. Okay, so I'll be issuing tickets for any West Ham fan coming. I'll be on the door, charging about €100 an hour.
Yeah,
right? But yeah, you'd be more than welcome. Honestly, honestly.
Top welcome. Lad. And on that note, I'm going to let Brownie go because he's got to be elsewhere. But
I'm
Brownie,
hungry.
It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. And you take care of yourself, and I'll catch up again with you soon, mate.
Hey, keep blowing bubbles, my friend. Try saying that with a lisp as well. Take care.
Top man. That's Brownie, Football with Brownie. Go and follow his channel. Top man. Follows Cardiff, big Cardiff City fan. And he's over the moon with how Cardiff are doing this season. Now I'm going to bring in one of my friends, Brentford fan. He's going to talk to me about all things Brentford, players who they've got, players who we've got from Brentford. And basically, let's bring him in. Is my man Sean.
Yo,
Darth Vader. How you doing, Darth?
I'm good, man. You?
Right, Sean. How you doing, my friend? Yeah,
I'm good, man. Shattered, mate. Long day, man.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I won't keep you long.
It's all good.
Right, Sean. Right, Brentford this year, mate. Flying high. And first of all, I'm going to start with Winston Reid. How's Winston doing with you boys?
He's all right, to be fair. Do you know what? The first game, I can't lie. Obviously, he gets his first start and just it falls to pieces. But do you know what? I think half of our problem is we ran out of steam. You know, we went on that amazing 21 game run. And I mean, that's a big thing for Brentford. Massive. And I think we just ran out of steam in the end. Yeah. And I think we need to find that again if we're really going to challenge.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Hopefully, like it's a weird one with me because if Brentford go up, then the players that we're going to mention in a minute, none of them are coming to us. Let's put it like that. So, but I'm gonna start. I'm gonna ask you another thing now. Saeed Benrahma, all right?
Yeah.
You see him. You followed him at Brentford. You see how good he was. A lot of West Ham fans are a bit deluded, thinking he ain't good enough to be with us, so to speak. How good is Saeed Benrahma, mate?
Do you know, I think half the problem with Saeed Benrahma when he sort of first went to you guys is, you know, he grows with the game. You know, you bring him on for 10 minutes, he's not going to make a difference in a game. And I think West Ham are starting to see that now. You start playing him from the start, you really see how good he is. I think one of the things that's really sort of settled him into games as well is a partnership with Lingard. I think him and Lingard seem to have just clicked. And I think they're sort of almost bringing the best out of each other in a sense. I mean, you look at the game, I don't even know when it was, the last game I think you played.
Arsenal.
He was just all over the place. He was just everywhere. Like I saw one of your videos about the Leeds game. And he was just causing havoc all over the pitch. And that is what Benrahma is all about. For Brentford, he was a game changer. But I think as well with him, it was going to take some time for him to adjust because obviously at Brentford you had the dreaded BMW partnership. You had him. And
I've got him here, mate. I've got him here all ready to go and on the banners and I'll be honest with you, mate. I like Benrahma. I do. I like the way he's touched. I like his skill. I like the way he gets past people. But I'm going to go through a few things with you now, Sean. A few players, mate. And I'm going to start off with this man, right? Now, this man never gets a mention, right?
He's incredible.
Everyone mentions Tony. Everyone mentions Rico Emery. No one mentions the first part of the BMW, famous BMW team, with him, Benrahma and Watkins. Do you know what I mean? And how good is this man?
He's incredible. He is a massive part of our team. Even now, you look at him and Tony have slotted in like incredibly well. He's got a big future, and people forget he's only young. He is very, very young.
What position does he play? Is he a centre forward or is he a winger?
For us, he plays right wing. So obviously you had him on the right wing, you had Ben Rama left wing, and then you had Watkins up the middle. And they were just the dreaded partnership. I mean, between the three of them, they hit a countless amount of goals between the three of them last season. He's a centre. He is a centerpiece of our team. He is incredible.
Do you know what? He's one player never gets a mention. Never gets linked nowhere. There's obviously other players that I could have put on this banner, but I've only done 3, and I've put on obviously there's a player that I haven't put on there is Jay Da Silva, who plays in central midfield for you.
Joshy boy.
Yeah, Joshy boy.
Do you know what? I think when you look back at the Tottenham game, when Brentford played Tottenham in the Carabao Cup, the commentator himself, he summed it up perfectly. Josh Da Silva does not get left out of the team. If he's fit, he plays. Purely because he runs that team. He keeps that team ticking. I mean, we're sad at the moment because obviously he's run into a hip injury, so he's not back till supposedly after international break. How quickly he's gonna be, rehabilitated, who knows? But if we're gonna do something this season, we need him back at the fit. We need to keep Tony fit. We need to keep them.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Sean. Right, and I know you, mate. You're my bro. But if you don't go up this year, do you lose all these players?
No, I don't think so. No.
No.
There is rumours about Tony being linked with Arsenal. I think West Ham were linked as well. I think Tottenham were linked. But I mean, when you look at Tony, for example, he should be a Premiership striker. By far, he is the best striker in the Championship. By far, he is the best striker in the Championship. But you look at teams like Arsenal. Are Arsenal going to play him ahead of Lacazette, Aubameyang? Probably not. Tottenham, are they going to put him above Harry Kane? Absolutely not. West Ham,
I think he's made for West Ham, mate. I'll be honest with you, and I'll tell you.
In terms of Antonio, obviously Antonio is a great striker. There is no two ways about it. Would they drop Antonio for Tony?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
They would, mate.
They
would, I'm telling you. Yeah. Ivan Tony, mate, from he has got everything that we want in a player. He's pace on the ground. He's good in the air. Obviously, you've seen him play, and like the goals
he barely
scores.
Loses a header.
That's what I'm saying.
He barely loses a header.
Yeah. How would you? Because I remember this Tony back at many years ago at Peterborough, and he used to score goals for fun at Peterborough, and that's where you picked him up from Peterborough, and. Obviously, he went to Northampton before that, and I think he had a spell in Newcastle at one stage.
And he never started at Newcastle.
Yeah, and he's just sort of gone on leaps and bounds. How much he worth, would you say, Sean?
Well, obviously, everyone laughed at it when Brentford bought him because effectively, we paid £10 million for him. Now you look at League One, you think £10 million for a striker from League One, he's got to be good. I think there's no secret about it. Brentford have one of the best scouting networks going. There's a lot of teams that are looking at how we scout players. Hence why teams are always looking at us to buy players because they know we're bringing up some serious players. You look at the internationals just last night. We had 2 of our first team were in the Denmark starting lineup who won 8-0. One of them scored. Pinnock's was called up for Jamaica. There's a lot of our players that are really starting to hit the ground running. And Ollie Watkins to make his England debut and score.
I was going to get to
Brentford fan out there. That's an achievement for every Brentford fan. That him making an appearance for England is worth something like £850,000 to Brentford.
Yeah.
But just on a sentimental value just to see, an ex-Brentford player run up into the England team as well as score on a debut. Listen, let's not get ourselves with San Marino, but what a start for them. What a start.
Yeah, you still got to score the goals though, Sean, ain't you? Like whether or not you're playing San Marino. Yeah.
No, and I mean, what a finish that was. What a finish that was. And it wouldn't surprise me if Tony isn't far behind.
Yeah, I agree there, mate. I think Tony's class, mate. Honestly, I really do.
He's
every time I see him on the weekend, he's either scored a goal or made a goal or done something. He's influenced the game, basically.
He's got a real knack for penalties recently.
Yeah, I know, mate. From what I saw, I'm going to take a few comments, right? Because there's a good few comments, mate. Because I got you on, and Kent Hammers has put, I love Ben Rama. I wanted Watkins. If we would have got them both instead of being fifth, we would have maybe fourth. Obviously, if we'd have got them, then we would have been right up there. He said about the player that you mentioned previous, the right winger. I don't like to pronounce his name, but I'll call him Brian. Yeah,
Brian
he said he's phenomenal. Yeah, he said he's phenomenal. And obviously, Josh Da Silva, let go at Arsenal, and basically, I like him and all. I like that Da Silva lad. I think he's young, he's fresh, and yeah, he's up for it big time. One of you, this man put a comment in. He put a comment earlier. I said about I think it's one of your mates, mate.
Yeah, but, he's someone I work with.
Yeah, Tony would be great at Spurs. We should get him when fell in the playoffs. When you fell in the playoffs, basically. And he said about Tony, Tony, if he comes to West Ham, he would get 20, 25 games a season. Tony was at Northampton first, then went to Newcastle. I knew he went to Newcastle, then Peterborough, and then plus add-ons and up to then. So I like Tony, mate. I think Tony's a top quality striker. And I'll be honest with you, I fear for Brentford this year because if they don't do anything, if they don't go up, I don't know. There's another player that I like and all I'm going to get onto now. It's this man, Rico Emery, and we keep being linked with him. Sean, how good's he?
By far, he's the best left back in the Championship. And I don't watch many, like all the Premiership games, with any equal eye, but I don't see many left backs in the Premiership better than him. He should be well up there. Again, he's incredible, and right now we're missing him. He's out injured. We're missing him. We've got Mads Beck Sorensen. He's 20, 21, maybe 22 now. Who's been playing centre back pretty much all season, and suddenly Rico gets injured. Dom Thompson's out on loan, and suddenly our centre backs have got to go left back. So, and I mean, you look at the defence; it's not the same without him. So, yeah, absolutely. Again, he's a rock, absolute rock at the back. And we miss him. We do miss him. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. He's another one, mate. I just don't know why, but Brentford, I think if anyone was to sign anyone from Brentford, go and sign their recruitment manager or recruitment scout, because their recruitment's top quality. Even the Danish lads who you mentioned, one of them, I think it's a Finnish lad there. Is it for sure or or
you got? So you got Marcus Fors, who's playing. He plays in the Finland national team. He doesn't generally play for us because obviously, I mean, Tony is keeping him out of the team. Let's be real. But again, he's another one. He'll come on and he'll make a difference in a game. Again, he's quality. He's got obviously a lot to learn, but again, he's another one that's going to be right up there.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think Brentford are doing well, and I mean, you had like chats in private about Tony, and you said to me, and you even said to me about Ben Rama, why ain't they playing him? And I just think, I don't know why, but I think if this year has to be the year they go up. Now I'm going to ask you, mate, do you think you will go up this year, or do you think this is going to be another season where nearly, but just not quite there?
Do you know? I all day I've kind of had in my head that you're going to ask me this question. Truthfully, Brentford have had another one. It's always the same with Brentford. They have that season where we go strong, and we really really go at it. And I have a joke with the boys at work. It's almost like Brentford get to a point and then they're sort of like, nah, we don't really want that. You know, you can have it. And I think that's kind of what we've done recently. You know, we've allowed teams like Swansea, Watford, and I mean Norwich have really sort of pushed the gap now. Purely because it's almost like we haven't wanted it enough. But it's easy to get frustrated. But the thing that I look at as obviously a Brentford fan, I've been a Brentford fan since as far as I can remember. You know, I remember the days of being League Two, battling, you know, on and off playoffs, on and off relegations, and we are just effectively a pub team from London. So we don't have the financial backing that Norwich have had, or Swansea have had, or Watford have had. But to still be in that zone, pushing them all the way as we can, that's an incredible feat for us. It does get to a point where it's like, okay, but we need to kick on now. But at the same time, we still have to remain humble and think, you know, we've come a long, long way. You know, we have to be completely thankful and, you know, gracious to Matthew Benham. You know, he came in at the club. He's made a real difference. You know, he's Brentford fan himself. So he's turned that club around. We've got one of the best scouting networks going. You know, we're bringing up some. I mean, I think we're one of the only clubs in the country that doesn't have, you know, sort of like a youth academy, as it were.
Yeah.
We effectively have what's called a Brentford B team, which is where all our youngsters play. And it's a different way of doing things, but what we're starting to see and players coming through like Mads Beck Sorensen is it works.
Well, what you've done though, one thing I will say, what you've done, you've bought from the lower leagues and you've bought well. You've bought very well.
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
Like,
I mean, when I first heard about the way they were going to look at doing their transfer policy, I was a bit skeptical because what they look at is statistics. They look at the numbers. They look at the goals, the assists, and I sort of thought that's okay, but you could have one season where a player knocks in 35 goals in a season, and this was 10 the next. So I was always a little bit skeptical with it, but looking at, you know, Ollie Watkins came through, Ben Rama came through, and Burmo's come through, Tony's now come through, Marcus Stores has come through. It clearly works.
There's another player here that Kent is mentioning. Norgard. Is it? No, yeah, he's class to holding midfield, keeps the ball ticking over so the attackers can go freely.
Absolutely.
The money ball
system. One of the two.
The money ball system. The money ball system works for Brentford. Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's good to see that they're doing well, but it's just obviously you can only do well for so long before they're going to want to. These players are going to want to go up like to another level.
Well, this is the thing, and I think one of selling Watkins and Ben Rama was an absolute masterstroke, absolute fantastic piece of business. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. If you look at the way I look at it is, had we have kept Ben Rama and Watkins for another season, you think you've got Tony, Watkins, Ben Rama, and Burmo, backed up by Sergi Canos, Tarek Fosu Henry. You've got your attacking line with that is you're never going to run out of games. You're not going to run out of games because you've got players that are getting goals for fun. That's where I'm a bit. Maybe we should have held on to him for an extra season. We could well be Prem at the end of this season. We could well be, you know, well clear at the top of the championship had we kept two players. Because obviously we had a couple of games where Tony was out. We've had games where Sergi Canos has been out, you know, and we've had players that can come in, but they're not quite up to speed yet. And I think, sadly, I mean, I rate Sergi Canos so highly. but he's trying to fill the gap, as it were, of Said Benrahma. They're two complete different players. Sergi isn't going to work the same way that Benrahma works, but he can affect the game in other ways. But I don't think Sergi's quite hit that level yet where he's consistently changing that game week in, week out like Benrahma did. I think that's where we're at the moment. But I mean, saying that, I mean, the amount of goals we've scored this season, it would almost look like I'm talking nonsense. But in games where, especially recently, you know, we've had 2 or 3 1-all draws on the bounce, where it's almost looked like we've run out of ideas. They are the games that Benrahma and Watkins and, you know, and Burma, they're going to change that game.
Right, I'm going to ask you a few questions, Sean, and I'll let you go, mate. I just want to get your thoughts on them quickly. It's quick fire questions. Is Benrahma one of the best players you've seen play for Brentford? Or is there a player better than him? Or is Tony doing it for you?
I would say he's probably one of the most skillful that I've seen in, like, put on a Brentford shirt. In terms of importance to the team, I would probably say right now, Tony is massive for us. The thing with Brentford, we've never really been a team where we look at one person. We don't just look at one person as one of our best player. And you know, you look at last season. You know, you had the traded BMW partnership. You had the midfield was solid. We had a solid back line. Pontus Jansson has been a massive signing for us. So, in terms of best player I've ever seen play for Brentford, I would say he's definitely one of the most skillful.
I've got a couple of questions, if Sean. So, if the far away, answer shortly, mate, if you can. Right? Does Sean fear that if Brentford don't go up, their manager will leave for a bigger club in the summer? I was going to ask you what your thoughts are on Franks. So, well done, Ian. 2 birds, 1 stone there. What's your thoughts on Franks, mate?
I don't think he'll leave for a bigger club. No. Listen, at the end of the day, if a bigger club comes in and offers him the right money, you can't blame him. But I think with him, he loves the team, he loves the club, he likes the way it works. Obviously, Thomas Frank was effectively under Dean Smith. So when Dean Smith went to Villa, obviously Thomas Frank stepped up. I don't fear for him going. I wouldn't blame him if we didn't go up and a bigger team, Premiership team, came in for him with the right amount of money. I wouldn't blame him, but I think he's quality. I do think, and again, I think he deserves to be running the team into the Premiership.
I'll ask this.
He's been amazing for us.
Top man. I'll ask this right from Kent. Is the new stadium going to help Brentford in the run, or would the familiarity of Griffin Park and not so good familiarity help you? So basically, the new stadium, because obviously Griffin Park's gone now. You're in that new ground in the running.
Well, obviously, we started this season in the new stadium. And obviously, like I say, we went on, what really was an incredible 21 game unbeaten run. So, no, I don't think, in a sense, that being in the new ground over Griffin Park would damage us in a sense. I think half of Brentford's problem would have been their mentality, because Brentford is known as a community club. Everything is about fans and players connected. It always has been, it always will be. So I think the players' mentality of the fans not being able to be there and to, really roar them on. And listen, that's the same for every team. Every team's going to be missing their fans. It's almost like a 12th man.
Yeah.
But I think with us, it is a mentality thing. And I think that's probably been Thomas Frank's biggest challenge this season. Trying to keep them motivated without having that 12th man there, I would say.
No, yeah, top draw, mate. Top draw. Well, I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna let you go, mate. Do Brentford go up this year, Sean? Yes or no?
After this international break, it depends what Brentford turns up. If we can get Josh Da Silva back fit and playing, and we find the momentum we had earlier on in the season, we could slip into second. If we don't, I don't think we'd slip out of playoffs. So I think we would hit playoffs. It's just a dreaded playoffs for Brentford. We don't have a great record in them, but in terms of teams around us that would challenge us in the playoffs, I don't think there's a team in there really, other than probably Watford, that would really give us much of a challenge. If we're on our day, I think for us, my biggest frustration with Brentford was when we played Tottenham. We gave a very good showing of ourselves in the sense of we're a very fit team. 2-0 down, 89th minute, we're still chasing their players down. That says a lot about the character of our players. What I didn't like about it is we didn't play our game. We kept trying to play long balls. We don't do that. We ball on the floor, pass it around quick, and on our day, we tear anyone apart. We really would on our day. So, like I say, it really depends what Brentford turns up. If we turn up, like it's a cup final every day, like every game, and we really show up and play to our full potential, I mean, we shouldn't have any trouble.
Yeah, well, for me to you, mate, I hope you do, and I'll see you in the Premier League, and we have a lot of banter about it, mate. But
hell yeah,
it's been a pleasure, Sean. Thanks for coming on, mate. Much appreciated. He's my bro, man, and much love to the lad. And I'll let him go. But Sean, you take care, mate. All the best, and I'll catch up again with you soon.
Too, bro. Sweet as,
take care, bro. That was Sean, mate. Brentford fan, top lad. He's a friend of mine, and he supports his club like we do. I've got a couple of West Ham boys coming in now. We've got West Ham online, and we've got Andy. Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing? Obviously, using the background there, listening to Sean. They've got a couple of good players, Brentford, Andy. What do you think of their players that I was mentioning?
The one for me would be Tony and Henry. Will be the ones. To be honest, I like the way Sean was being very honest. He wasn't saying like, "Oh, we're going to get promoted" or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I think that this season is the toughest to call in that championship. I think any of the top four could get that spot. Normally, you get one who runs away, but no. If you would, definitely 100%. Tony and Henry for me.
Yeah, West Ham online. Obviously, Sean, come on, Brentford fan. What did you make of the players that he was mentioning? And they're a good team, Brentford. When you go through their team, they've got some little gems in there, haven't they?
Yeah. When you go through their team, you're surprised that they haven't gone up in any of the last 3 seasons because, as Sean said, who conducted himself really, really well. I thought he came across really well in that discussion, and I think players such as Henry, Tony, Norsgaard, Da Silva, they're all players who can play in the Premier League. So it would be a surprise for me if they don't get promoted this season.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think they're a tidy little unit. I think they've got pace both flanks. That Brian, is it Mabuba or I can't even pronounce his name. Mbeumo, yeah. I think he's another player who never gets a mention, like because they've got so many. Obviously, Tony's the one at the top of the list, and then you start going through their team and you start seeing their players. Let me ask you, as West Ham fans, do you fear for them that all them players might disappear in the summer if they don't go up?
Yeah,
Andy,
100%. I think they've seen what Watkins has done. don't get me wrong, Ben Rama's not played as well, but they're probably saying, I want a bit of that. Do you know what I mean? That's probably, sorry if it seems so blunt, but I think that's probably the easiest answer I can give.
It must have been a proud moment, West Ham Online, to see Watkins, who's a player who's come from Exeter, and they've got him to Brentford, and they've built him up in a way that he ends up now playing for Villa, and now he's representing England.
Yeah, as you say, because Brentford have never been a big club, to have one of their former players playing for England is obviously a rarity, and I'm sure they were really proud of Watkins. And the biggest thing about that is I believe that Tony has the potential to be better than Watkins. So hopefully one day he'll be an England international too, whether that's playing for Brentford or hopefully playing for West Ham.
Yeah, I like Tony myself. I think Tony's top draw. I think he's an exact replica of what we want when we look at Antonio. When you look at Antonio and you look at Tony, for instance, they're both literally enough the same. Like, they're good in the air, good on the ground, fast, pacey, strong, everything we want. And I do believe the Winston Reid deal, that is him being there, is like a sweetener to see what West Ham can come up with in the summer if Brentford don't go up. Now, for me personally, Sean's my boy, and I hope Brentford do go up. But if they don't, I will take Tony quite happily. I think he's top draw. And do you know what? It'd be interesting because they've got a couple of players. Like he mentioned a couple, and Kent, who's in the chat, mentioned a couple of their players. There's a Finnish lad in there, 2 Danish lads who play. They've got players they seem just to pick up for peanuts and work with, and basically become even better than they were beforehand, if that makes sense. But what's your thoughts, lads?
Sorry. I've just had a look at their fixtures. I was just curious because we're talking about it, and there's games what stick to mind. Obviously, they've got Cardiff at home to come up.
Big game, yeah.
Bournemouth away.
Another playoff contender,
Watford at home, and so I know, and they've got Birmingham coming up as well under Lee Bowyer. They seem to have a lead. No easy game in the Championship's easy, and I don't know. I think, me personally, I think they'll finish third. I think Watford and Norwich have just got that edge where they're more of a boomerang team where they go up and down. But like you said, the playoffs is a lottery. But
I'll ask you, Andy, this. Yeah, do you think they go up this year, Brentford?
Yeah, via the playoffs, not automatic.
Yeah. West Ham Online. Basically, you've seen the fixture list, mate. You've seen who they've got in there. But there's a team in there that seems to literally, when you look at that playoffs, and Andy can look at it on his screen, Barnsley. This team has come from absolutely nowhere. They've obviously got a really good manager, the ex-Dortmund player, I think. And they're putting up trees. What do you think of Brentford's chances? And Cardiff and all, because I had Brownie on earlier.
Yeah.
They're both flying high in the Championship in a minute.
I done a thread on Barnsley's manager a few months ago, actually. I'm a huge fan of him. And you notice last season, Barnsley actually stayed up with the last game against Brentford, which stopped Brentford from getting in the automatic positions. So for me, I personally do want Brentford to come above Watford because I have a mate who supports Watford, and unfortunately, he's a bit biased. So I hope that Brentford come up. But if they don't, if I'm honest, I don't think Brentford will come up. I think Watford are far too strong at the moment. I think Watford will finish second, and then I really do think it could be Barnsley that come up through the playoffs. That success story, it would be unbelievable to see. Cardiff for me just aren't quite at the level yet. And hopefully, as I heard Brownie say about the financial problems, and if they don't come up this year, I do worry a little bit for Cardiff.
Yeah.
Do you want me to?
I don't. Go on, mate.
Oh yeah. No, Jones. I was just seeing it, mate. So I'm just looking at the table in front of me, and I didn't realise the gap between second and third. I didn't realise it was that big.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was that big. So yeah,
What's
I
the
agree.
obviously you've got third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. What's the gap between Cardiff in eighth and sixth?
4 points.
So yeah, it's pretty close, isn't it? Like really, when you're looking at it, and it only takes a week, and you could be back-to-back wins, and you're in the playoffs. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I just I don't know.
I've just put it on there. I don't know if you can select it. If you just wanted to put it up a sec, the table. I don't know if you can select it if you wanted to.
Let's have a look, mate. I don't think it's come through here, but
oh, do I need to change my screen? I don't know how you do the shared screen. Oh, sorry. No, it's all right. I thought it just you could just select me as another thing, but obviously it's not.
But no, like I say,
it's close, mate. It's close.
It's tight, and it in there. And at the end of the day, Brentford. I think Brentford. The only thing where I do fancy Brentford to do it is because they've got experience now from last year. Like Fulham coming up and beating them in the playoff final. Last year, maybe they will be a bit more experienced in that.
But I wouldn't want to play Swansea. They're third, obviously, just sitting above them. They're obviously how many? I think both times Swansea when they've come up, when they come up, they come up by the playoffs, didn't they? Sinclair when they flipping destroyed it. So no.
Well, I'm going to ask you this before we wrap it up. I'm going to ask Andy first, and I'll hand it over to West Ham Online. Yeah. Who's your 4 to get in the playoffs then? At the minute,
Swansea, Brentford, Barnsley. I want to say Cardiff for Brownie, but I think it'll be Bournemouth.
So you're going with that. West Ham Online. What's your thoughts, mate, on the 4 playoff positions?
I think it'll be Brentford, Swansea, Barnsley. Oh, who's the other team who are in and amongst it who we haven't really mentioned?
So you've got Reading who's 6th at the minute on 62 points. Reading. Bournemouth 7th on 59, and Cardiff on 58 and 8th. Middlesbrough's on 56, but they're too far away, I think.
Yeah, I'll go with Reading because I've watched Bournemouth recently and they've been shocking. Even at Southampton in the FA Cup, my God, they looked all over the place under Woodgate. So I don't think it will be Bournemouth. So I do, for Brownie, I do think it will be between Cardiff and Reading. And the thing that I have to say quickly about Swansea is I've watched a lot of their games recently and I've never seen a team get so lucky with refereeing decisions. They've got so many ridiculous penalties.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Carl, don't tell Brownie that. I mean, but yeah. Do you know what? It's going to be interesting, though, gents. It will be interesting. Obviously, before we wrap it up, I've got to ask you 2 man of match performances for 2 of our boys. Declan Rice, Albania away, and Lingard the other day. I'm going to start off with West Ham Online first. What was your thoughts on that, mate?
I remember when the voting came out and it was between him and Mount, and the West Ham community just went absolutely mental. I think I made about 16 votes on different emails and things like that. So I was delighted to see both of them win. If I'm brutally honest, I don't really think that Lingard's was deserved just because of the amount of chances he missed, but he did play well. But Rice, I think, was excellent against Albania, and he really showed up why he has clearly won the Rice-Phillips debate, if you will.
Yeah, some of the things I've seen on Twitter recently have been laughable.
Have you? I don't know whether you saw, but I've got my ban from Twitter. I'm banned still till midnight. And
what did you say?
Did you not? Did you see it, James? Did you see it?
Yeah, I did see it.
I didn't see it.
So I don't know whether you saw the Moose picked his starting 11, what he put in the Euros, including Rice as a centre back, and I told him he should stick to rating his food and not report on football again. And then I got an email this morning saying I've been banned from Twitter because he reported me.
God, dear, you must love food. That's what I'll say on that one. Andy, what do you make of the man of the match, mate? Obviously, Rice got it and Lingard got it. What's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, mate. International football just doesn't do it for me. But I'm just going by a few people at work. They watched it as well, and they're not West Ham fans either. A couple are Chelsea, and a couple are, unfortunately, the people up the road, Tottenham fans, and they've said it. And to be honest, that from an outside perspective, they're slowly starting to realise how good he actually is, and that's the worry for me now.
Yeah.
I think when he was just still going under the radar, who Declan Rice and the Geordie folklore seemed to remind me the most. Remember him with that Longstaff, that bloke? Do you remember that a couple of years
Ridiculous,
ago?
mate, ridiculous.
Yeah, but no, I'm happy for him, and to be honest, Poland without Lewandowski being playing, I think Southgate may put a different team out tomorrow now.
Yeah,
we might see Rice get rested and come on if he needs to.
I hope so, mate, because he can't get injured. But
I could see Will Prowse and Phillips probably, or something like that starting in the centre tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I do agree. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up, lads. And I appreciate you coming on late in the evening and giving me your thoughts on a couple of people from the EFL, mate, talking about their clubs. I'm looking at doing a few more different things. I've got a show in mind that I'm going to do an all Premier League show, get different Premier League fans on from different clubs and be respectful.
Mate, I agree 100%. That Championship has got so much talent in it. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and we need to. Me personally, Bowen's done it. Creswell, Antonio. The list goes on. For me, that's the way to go to get players.
I agree, mate, and I couldn't agree with you more. But I'm going to look a bit before I go. I'm going to look to do some more of these view from the sidelines, but like all different sort of aspects, like EFL and this is one tonight, and I'm going to be looking at doing a sort of all Premier League one and get Premier League fans on, talk about their clubs, and it'd be interesting. But thanks, boys. Thanks, Andy.
Mate, pleasure.
Thanks, West Ham Online, for coming on. I want to thank Sean, Brentford fan, mate. It was superb. He's my bro. He's a good friend of mine, and I tell you what, he spoke well, and much respect to him. I want to thank Brownie for coming on, giving me 20 minutes of his time, and talking about Cardiff. The Mick McCarthy revolution has begun there. But it's. I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I will let everyone go, and I will catch up again with you soon. So that's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Andy, and it's goodbye from West Ham Online. Take care.
See you later, everyone.